Hi everyone, this is Kelly and I am here to do a walkthrough of the Keymaster Tarot. My friend Jamie had posted, she had gotten hers and opened hers up and had posted, like, why hasn't anybody been talking about this, like, in a smaller group? And I was like, I put it in my my drawer like my drawer of walkthroughs that eats decks, because I was, excited about it. But I think I had gotten the Witch's Oracle or the Witch's Wisdom Tarot. I'm sorry. I think I got that the same day as this. I got something that I got really excited about the same day, and so I never kind of made my way back to this, even though I've been super excited about this deck. So we're going to take a look at it. I have one of my all-time favorite playing card decks, and if you've watched my channel long enough, you know if there's anything that I might have more of than tarot decks, it's playing cards. I have collected playing cards my whole life, and if I were to have to guess at what my very first divination system would have been back in the day, it's a toss-up between OM rooms or playing cards, and I'm pretty sure, I'm 99.9% sure it would be playing cards. So I've been collecting playing cards my whole adult life. Tell a child that they are the tools of the devil, and when they become adults, they will collect lots of them. But the House of the Rising Spades is a playing card deck by let's see, I gotta put my glasses on here because I'm gonna get this is produced through Cardamom. Stockholm 17. I guess this doesn't have his name on here, but we'll look at that in here. And this, I have blacked the sides. I am 99.9% sure they didn't come that way. I believe I blacked the sides. They are stunning. I'm just gonna zoom in here. They're absolutely stunning, like absolutely gorgeous. They have this sort of antiqued but stylized, sort of illustrative, stylized, I don't know how to describe them. There's lots of gold. The quartz are just amazing. They're just really awesome. They have the attic and the cellar and the library on the aces and others, and I just love them. I love the backing. I love the way that they feel. I love the way that they shuffle. I love the way that they look. Like, they look amazing. The aces stand out really boldly in a playing card reading. I like that the pips are a little bit different in the ways, like they kind of stack from the bottom up, and so when you get into some of them, they have different stackings. I just love everything about this deck, and it's definitely one of my favorite decks that I use for playing card divination, because it's just bold, it's beautiful, and I love it. So, and I think I did a walkthrough of this. I'm pretty sure I did a walkthrough of this deck. And so when I heard that Stockholm 17 was going to be making, this is from a company from Sweden, was making a tarot deck that I believe the court cards, as far as I'm aware, the court cards are the same as court cards as within the House of the Rising Spade. I was like, oh yeah, like as soon as that Kickstarter came out, yes, like yes please. There's no, there wasn't even a question about whether or not I was going to order this Kickstarter. Now, I didn't get anything super fancy. There were a lot of different levels, and the reason why some people are starting to get these and others aren't is that I think the people that got the bigger packages that had this really intricate box, like that was a castle shaped, or I'm not entirely sure. I just had gotten more of the standard box and deck, and I think if you got gilding, like I don't believe I got any I didn't get any gilding because I knew I wanted to edge it black like I did with my House of the Rising Spade. And so if you just kind of got that standard deck, I think that's the people that are starting to get theirs. So yeah, but it's in a lovely box. Everything that Stockholm 17 does, I think, is just top notch and really gorgeous. And this box is linen. I mean, it's got this red with that kind of stamp on the inside. It's very luxe feeling, even though this was the bottom of the barrel. And again, you can even see this on House of the Rising Spade. It's gorgeous. It has embossing on it. There's embossing on the inside. Like, it just feels really luxe. Comes with a pamphlet. Has a ribbon to pull your cards out in, and then it's got normal sides, and then it's got like velour bottom, but it's just really, everything about it is just sharp. You know, it just looks sharp. It's very sexy. So yeah, so that's the box. I'm not gonna, the one thing is it does not have the cutouts, and sometimes when you don't have the cutouts, be careful, because this isn't too bad, but it can be hard to get the box back out, especially if this goes all the way and if you don't have the weight of the cards. I prefer a cutout here, but it looks, you know, sleek with the eye. I can see why they wouldn't use it. I'm guessing this is pretty basic. First there was the House of the Rising Spade, a place outside of space and time beyond the physical world. Now the Keymaster opens the gate and continues the saga by expanding the fantasy world. With the Keymaster project, I've added something new to the House of the Rising Spade and will show you 22 ancient chambers for you to explore. The major arcana of the tarot. So each of these would be a chamber that you would enter in, like the library and that kind of thing, right? Gives you the list of the major arcana, and then it goes right into the cards. So you have the Fool. The High Priestess is a woman who reads, who knows the history and meaning behind a situation. She may keep that knowledge to herself, though. If you pull this card, think about what you know, but don't tell others. The Priestess could also be another person who holds the information you need. In an advice or work context, it could be advising you to learn more about the situation. In other contexts, think about how a knowledgeable priestess could help or hinder the situation. So it's, you know, to me, it's kind of basic cards. Looks like we have a whoops here with the strength card has the Empress. I believe he is given, you know, like you can get the text for this so that you can cut out and paste it. It happens to the best of us. And so we have that. Then we have the minor arcana, showing the minor arcana here. And you have sort of a 2 pages for each. You have basic idea of the spades. You have the ace through 10, and then you have the courts here. Now, they use the nature of the spades is that they are used for digging. You stab the spade into the earth and cut through the decay of soil. Holes dug in the ground are also usually inconvenient and create problems, but you need them if you're going to build a house. People who stab are not usually people you want to have around you all the time, but they can be very useful if you're going into battle. Overall, if you're looking for a peaceful outcome, the spades predict trouble, but they aren't negative in all situations. Spades correspond to the roots of a tree, digging deep to draw sustenance from the graves of everything that has passed from this world before us. Not a description that I've ever heard of for or read with for the spades. I think definitely leaning into playing card spades, right, versus modern tarot spades. Although, let's be fair, that's also what Arthur E. Waite did, and pretty much lifted the suit of spades from playing card divination, but didn't do the same with all of the others. And so, you know, it's not surprising, like the Jack of Spades, a bringer of unpleasant news. Like, these are things that the answer of no. This is very playing card oriented, sort of traditional or historical playing card divination. So, and that, you know, might be the way you end up using it or not. But the great thing about this is that it's a pip deck. You can read it however you so choose. Reading a 3-card, a Keymaster spread, which I love. What door do I really want to open? What key do I hold in my hand? I like this. I'm definitely going to try that out. And then a Celtic Cross spread, And it doesn't talk about reverse meanings, but if you want to use them, go for it, basically. So a little basic thing. I don't believe that the creator of this deck works with tarot. I think he's a playing card company, and so you know, he's finding his base in his area and what he's going to lean into for what the cards meanings are going to be, and so you're getting that sort of traditional, this is the basic of how I did the research and this is what I'm finding. I don't, and I could be wrong, but my understanding wouldn't be that this is from somebody who you know, has done a lot of tarot work, and so we're getting sort of a historical, he's pulling from historical archetypes on the majors, and then what he's doing with the minors is super cool, and why I bought this, and we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, I will say right away, let me just pull these back out again. This is linen, like a linen cardstock, which is playing like linen, good playing card stock. This is what I love. This is so if you want to know the epitome of Kelly's favorite card stock of all time, it is a linen playing card stock. You know, if you've watched my channel long enough, that I am a riffle shuffler. I riffle shuffle everything that I have, even if it's a gilded deck, I am going to riffle shuffle a gilded deck. So I don't want some of these really thick, beautiful cardstocks that tarot decks can come in. I love them. I love the feel of them. I love the tactileness of them. But in terms of a working deck that I am going to use all the time, I want a really nice linen playing cardstock. Like that to me is ideal cardstock. I wish this was that, but it is not. It's very smooth. Again, it's beautiful feeling, but it's very smooth playing cardstock. It is not, or stock. It feels more like a cardstock than a playing cardstock. So to me, this doesn't feel like a typical playing card stock. It feels like a card stock of some kind. I don't know how else to explain that. If you have a good set of playing cards around you, I think you can kind of tell the difference, right? These are made to be riffle shuffled and handled and, you know, playing poker or something like that. And so there's just a different feel to good playing card stock. And it just feels different. I'm not an expert on cardstock, but playing cardstock feels different. Like if you look at if you have Pagan Otherworlds, that is a tarot deck with beautiful playing cardstock. This feels more like cardstock. Again, it feels gorgeous, but it's more of a matte, regular cardstock, not a playing cardstock is what it feels like. Could be wrong, but that's what I'm feeling. And I haven't shuffled it yet. So I wish it was linen, you know, to me that would have been perfection with it being linen, but that's okay. Oops, I don't know why I keep putting this away, because these are sister decks. So let's just pull her out and leave her out. This is gorgeous. I do intend to use these decks together, and look at how beautiful they look next to each other. Absolutely stunning. Obviously it's similar in the middle. This has an extra gold border. It's like a matte gold border around it that is beautiful. Like you know, I don't feel like I need to really explain how beautiful I feel like they are shown. And again, you could get it with gilding, but I really wanted to blacken the edges because I knew, you know, I would use these together, so I wanted to be able to black the edges. And you can see that the minors are blacked, which I love. I love that the majors and the minors have a different border because they will stand out beautifully in a spread. So I love that. In terms of the shape, they are, and you know, this is a poker size. It's slightly wider than a poker, and then it's skinnier. So it is skinnier than what I would say a standard tarot deck would be, for sure. But it's not by much, but it's almost like a bridge size, a tall bridge size. Let me see. I'm sure, I'm going to try hunt for one. But it's skinnier and taller than a standard playing card, which I love. I think it looks really fantastic. So I quite love that. As I said, it's got a gold border around the majors, and it has a thin gold and then a black border. I mean, look at that Ace of Spades. The other thing, let's just skip to it because this is, and we're going to zoom in here and talk. I should have been zoomed in the whole time. What they have done here is they have combined, in fact, they probably talk about, you know, what their reasoning behind it is in here. But what I absolutely love here, with the Keymaster project, I've added something new to the House of Rising, blah, 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 blah. It talks about this. The tarot might say, so they talk about pulling the majors. These historical tarot decks use the Latin suits of swords, batons, or wands, cups and coins or pentacles. But the original House of the Rising Sun was a deck that used the French suits of spades, clubs, hearts, and diamonds. For the Keymaster, I merged the two suits using the French suits as a base and putting the Latin suits from the Marseille Tarot on top as gold sigils. And this unique feature, the sigils seal the correspondences with a magical bond. So, as you will see, we have the French playing card suits of two spades, and then we have the Marseille style curved swords in gold. It is very, for me, it is very easy to see in person. I don't know, you know, how easy that is to see in the camera, but it is stunning and it's very clear and obvious in person. I love it. Absolutely love it. It has a very, it's not the, you know, old style decks have the very pointy untrimmed corners. This definitely has a corner, but it is quite a small corner, so it kind of gives that feel of a squared off, but doesn't have that pokiness that I'm really not actually a fan of the older decks. So let's zoom in here. So here we have the full card. Again, it has this very illustrative style, same style that we're going to get, and I'll have to pull out you know, some of these court cards because I do want to see if they are exact. So I'll kind of pull one out from each of the suits just to see. But they have that same sort of fantastical illustrative style that's really gorgeous. Very clean lines, very crisp colors that are just classic and stunning. So I love the white dog here. You have a Jestery Fool. I'm not a fan of Jester Fools, but you know, I get it. I get it. I can deal with them. Here we have the Magician. Really feels very magic oriented. It's got the sort of table in front with the cups and the top feel almost like the older street performer magician in historical deck, but we have a very precise magician vibe here, not a street magician whatsoever. That's really cool. I love the sort of geomantic shapes and things like that that are going on that are quite beautiful. Here is the High Priestess, is stunning. I love that she's not just holding the book, but that the book is opened up. I mean, it's really just gorgeous. I like the use of kind of cubes of colors in the background, but we're really having like yellow, and we're having blue here, and we're having reds. So we're having these kind of similar, and gold tones here. We're having similar colors throughout, kind of pulling everything together, so it's not, doesn't feel garish because it's like this muted intensity of color, and it all kind of goes together. I mean, look at the Empress. Like, this is a traditional Empress, which I love because she is a ruler, right? There is no slouching in Mother Nature here. You know, traditionally for me, the Mother Earth would be the Queen of Pentacles. The Empress is the feminine power of rulership, and you definitely get that. If anything, the King's a little slouchy. I am not a fan of slouchy kings, even though, or emperors. You do see them, and I get it. It is some tradition there, but I prefer my kings to be seated upright like she is. Like, she looks like she's going to kick your butt more than he's going to kick your butt, but I like them both. Again, I love the use of squares here, and then we have the triangles and the circle energy and the swoop of snake energy that's here. That's quite powerful. So I love that use, and I don't know if, let's take a peek. Does it even get referenced in the book? It does not look like it. Creative energy, Mother Earth. She feels like Mother Earth who's going to kick your butt. No, it doesn't seem like it references to those, the different things, but you can see where it's highlighting the moon at the neck. You can see the shape that's even made with the way that her hands are positioned. The triangle is again shown on her forehead. Very circular energy with the High Priestess, very square energy with the King, which, you know, or with the Emperor, which makes sense with the Emperor. I love that it uses the 4, you know, you can write Roman numerals for subtractive so that you have the 5 minus the 4, but I like that it's additive. Something that I particularly, it's not, I don't care either way, but I do love additive style on the 4s on the Roman numerals. We have a very, you know, precise, very traditional Pope style Hierophant here. Definitely brings in that structured feel, that organized religion feel, which I love the combination of that with the 5, which is a shake-up number. So there's always that underlying message in these types of Hierophants that we need to shake some of that restrictiveness up, is how I tend to approach that. We have the Lover's card here. I like the eyes overhead. I like the sun above versus something like an angel. I do love the white animals. So far I've noticed that the animals, like we have the dog here in white. We have an eagle in the Emperor. We have the white snake here, and we have sort of a white sparrow or something of that kind here that is really beautiful. It's such a simple thing, but it really stands out quite gorgeous. I'll be interested to see if that carries through. We have the very traditional chariot. These are my least favorite types of chariots because they are just seem so solid. Like it doesn't seem like there's any disparate energy going on that the charioteer is having to deal with. You know, it's just ball, you know, following the ball here is what it looks like. But it is very traditional, right? There is this confidence. There is an ability to handle whatever comes your way about these chariot drivers that is quite powerful. It's just not my most favorite. Love this Justice. I love the scales. I love the swinging. I'm sure somebody who is into geometry and things like that more than I might know some more things about what we're seeing in the shapes. Like in the Chariot, we're definitely seeing here Mercury. We're seeing what I'm assuming is Venus with a triangle on the top of it, or it's some other symbol. So we are seeing some like astrological or alchemical symbols. I'm also seeing what looks like there may be constellations in the backs. I've seen that a couple times where I've wondered, yep, see how you're seeing the constellations. I don't think it's in every one, but see, you are definitely seeing some constellations. None of that is mentioned in the guidebook. What I do like is that isn't like being obnoxiously there. You can see it and it's beautiful. If you like to lean into those types of things, you can. But if you don't, they're just beautiful and they're there and you don't really have to do much with that. So this is just gorgeous. She looks very ready to cut through. Stunning, stunning Hermit. Absolutely beautiful. There's nothing that I don't like about this. He's amazing. I love the staff. I love the star. I love the, you know, circle around the handle, the lantern. It's just everything about it. I love the line kind of just going out. There's in that in a couple of them, but it seems particularly powerful in the Hermit. Beautiful. Very cool Wheel of Fortune. I've said before, Wheel of Fortunes aren't always my favorite things. I can see Aquarius here. they're always, I don't know, they just are just not my favorite cards. Just visually, I don't mean in terms of the card itself, but visually they've never been that card that I go to look to and say, oh my goodness, like what's the wheel going to be? So it fits the rest of the deck, and that's what I need it to do. Like, see, look at that. I really love the animals here. I really love, I'm going to make a pile actually. I really like the white animals that are standing out in some of these cards. I think that they're really gorgeous, and that to me, this is a beautiful strength card. And it almost gives it sort of an animal spirit energy to it, which is of course something that I work with, and so I love that context, but it's just beautiful. There is a connection here between this woman and this animal that's quite powerful, but again, you've got this beautiful patterning through it, so it's beautifully stylized, but still very evocative. Look at the cat. Okay, I'm really obsessed now with the animals. Look at the cat climbing, and it's got that sort of checkerboard wallpaper in the background. Very traditional hanged man. I love the circle around the head. Like, it's just very cool. It kind of highlights that that this person has put themselves in this state for that new perspective. But what is this cat up to? Just kind of throws a little bit of something into the mix that I quite love. Love the devil. Love the use of the geometric shapes following the shape of the scythe. Very cool. You have sort of body parts strewn. That's a typical historical deck that you will see that in all different ways, and so I think that's cool. I love that you can see the form of the cloak that you would, the typical death cloak that you would see, robe or cloak over the top. You can see that very faint underneath that. That is pretty cool as well. Oops, I'm putting, now I got piles going. Temperance, awesome. Very powerful. Very traditional. I love that the wings look more like butterfly wings than angel wings. It's just that, just little tweaks to the look. There's a nice androgynous feel. Typically, I believe the Temperance Angel would have been a male. Would have probably, I think maybe it was Michael, but do not quote me on that. But it would have been seen as a male angel, and you know, it has morphed over time, I think, to being seen as a female angel. But I really love this because I think it's beautiful, and there is a sense of androgynous and mixture between the fire and the water that I think is quite beautiful. And again, I love the butterfly wings. I'm not saying they're butterfly wings, but I see butterfly wings, and it looks pretty cool. Here we have a very traditional devil card for older style decks, for Marseille style decks for sure. Very creepy. Oftentimes you'll see mixed genders where it may have breasts but also penis on the devil. The devil cards in historical decks are really sometimes quite comical, very, very strange, definitely give you that uncomfortable space that where the monster or the devil should reside. A little bit tighter chains around the neck than in Rider-Waite-Smith style, where you feel like, okay, just take the chains off of your neck. There's a little bit more of a feeling of not so easy to get out of those chains. But again, it is quite the traditional devil that you would see. What's interesting is in one of these, let me find it. What do we have? Do we show a pentacle? No, we don't show a pentacle yet because the Hermit is the 6-pointed star instead of the 5-pointed star. Yeah, okay. So there we have the devil. Here we have the tower. Again, traditional lightning strike, flames, people falling. I like the highlighting of the crown. You are often seeing people of all, you know, either like somebody that's dressed more like a peasant, lower class, but then also a royal person who is falling out. Like, it happens, the tower moments happen whether you be queen, king, or peasant, right? It happens to everybody. Same thing with the Wheel of Fortune, but it's really highlighting that that crown is not going to protect you from the effects of the tower. Beautiful star card, and I love the bird here. Beautiful star card. I love the stars. I love the day and the night. I love the being waist into the water, waist deep into the water. It's but feeling very secure and stable footing wise. It's just beautiful. I love everything about this. It's gorgeous. Really cool moon card. I don't generally like faces in the moons or suns, but these aren't too bad. I like the moon better than the sun. It's just a thing I don't particularly love, but these are quite stylized and very cool. You definitely have feeling of like ancient Egypt in the dogs. You still have the lobster, the traditional lobster there. I like the pathway feel of the V here. It's just a cool looking. It's got everything traditionally there, but it's got that beautiful stylized feel to the rest of the deck. And then it's got the lobster in white. Here we have the sun, which it looks like a youth. I actually really like the sun. You know, if you watch my channel, I'm not a fan of naked babies and sun cards. But this has got a very powerful youth, and it feels very energetic, feels very in balance on the ball. I like the active style horses here. And the sun definitely is taking center stage. It's really beautiful. I like that far better than some other ones I've seen. Judgment is super interesting. Definitely have a bit of this rising, but it does feel a bit crucifixy. So it's more, actually, I would say, has more religious intonations to it than the Lover's card, which does not feel, it feels very Egyptian with the pyramids. You don't really have a sense, and even with the eyes and the makeup on the eyes, you don't have a sense of Garden of Eden there. You definitely have it with the Pope kind of feeling, but this does have the most of that sort of religious feel to the text here. But it's, you know, it's still a typical historical Judgment card. And then the World card is beautiful. I will say this has got slightly more of it's the same artwork, but there's something about the posture of the lady and the hair that reminds me of, like, I'm not going to say this correctly, so do not put my feet to the fire, but like Art Nouveau or something like that. It's got just a slight different style, and I think it's just because everybody is so, I wouldn't say rigid, but very structured in their body postures, placements. It's not a fluid feel. It's a very particular type of illustration where she feels like all of a sudden you see this movement to the World card, and it's quite beautiful. Very, very stunning. And I like the coin style to the four corners that we're normally seeing with the Taurus and with Leo and so on. The Griffin up here. So that is the major arcana. I think they're gorgeous. My least favorite's probably Judgment, just because it does have that, and probably the Fool. I'm not a big fan of Jester cards. Again, it's perfectly fair, and I don't despise it, but it's just not my favorite. I love the use of these white animals that kind of are sprinkled, where you're kind of surprising, some not, like that's not surprising. But the bird here is surprising, and I feel like that could be really cool in an intuitive way. So gorgeous, gorgeous majors. So of course we'll go a bit quicker. Obviously, we're going to be looking at pips, and pips are, pips are pips. These are stunning. Aces generally have something to pop them out, and this is gorgeous. I couldn't even begin to read this, and it may be in another language. I have no clue. I'll have to zoom in, take a picture and zoom in on that. But it's a beautiful Ace of Spades. You know, spades are my suit. 2 of Spades. 3 of Spades. We'll see if this does my favorite thing in pips. We'll see. We'll see. 3 of Spades. Again, I love the crossed and then the breaking through the middle. Then we have the curves and the balance here with the 4. I love the key in the middle. And then the cutting through with a disruption of the odd number, right? That's quite such a beautiful, this is gorgeous with that in the middle. The beautiful balance and symmetry of the 6, and then the interruption of the 7. And yes, it does what I love. So with pip decks, I love my 4+3. 7s are about growth that comes from stability, the stability of the 4, and comes the growth. And it's not necessary, but it's something that I love. So we have that. beautiful 8 with the key insignia in the middle. It says Keymaster in the middle of the 8 of Swords, and then the 9 breaking through the middle, and then the triumphant and stunning, beautifully 10 curved swords. I also prefer my pip decks to have curved swords so that they stand out from the wands. Not as important when you've got the French suits as well, but still beautiful. So here we have the Jack of Spades. So we can see it's been a little bit like an eye has been added here, but it's pretty much the same as it was, which is what I was hoping for. We have the snake around. Like, yeah, it's pretty much the same image. Just this has turned into gilding, and we do have the eye there. So it looks like they are going to be the same. The powerful Knight of Spades. I love the quartz here. Like, look at the Queen of Spades. Oh, I love her. And then the King. Very, very dark knight feel. I love, like, he's got this fist sword, like he's holding that, like it's a very cool sword there. Love it. Have the beautiful ace again of diamonds. The aces really stand out gorgeous. Love a 2 of, I mean, with pip decks, the 2s are so stunning. So we have Stockholm 17. I'm not going to read and slaughter that because it's in a different language, but it's absolutely beautiful. Delicate, shifting here. It's just absolutely stunning. Here we have the 3. You see sort of, you don't have like a coin going around it, but you've got partial swoop of a coin is kind of how they are putting those symbols, Marseille symbols over the top of the diamonds. So you get that feel of the coins that you would have. Beautiful artwork here with the 7. Again, 4 plus 3. That's perfection for me. This is gorgeous. To the 9, which becomes even more gorgeous. To the 10. I mean, look at this. Can you see that? Like, that is so stunning. Jack of Diamonds. I also like that it leaves jacks instead of doing pages. Knight of Diamonds, Queen of Diamonds, stunning, and King of Diamonds. And of course these are red because it is a red suit. Clubs, straight. I love the straight batons, so it stands out immediately to the curved swords. The 2, the 3, the 4, 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, the 9, the 10, and then the gorgeous Jack of Clubs with the cat, the Knight of Clubs, the Queen of Clubs, and the King of Clubs. Love that little curved dagger there, though. The Ace of Hearts. Look at that 2 of Hearts. Ooh, I love it when they do that, where there's this random, these really cool feel to them. Kind of a cupsy feel, I suppose. Chalicey. Kind of similar, I will say, to the coins, but still quite beautiful. 4, 5, 6, 7, sorry, 8, 9, and 10. Perfection of lining up. And the Jack of Hearts. Love the red hawk. Oh, I love that Knight of Hearts. Very active feeling. Beautiful Queen of Hearts. And then the powerful King of Hearts. And then you have the Keymaster Tarot, and you know, playing cards often give you this two-backed. You get that card that has the back, double-backed card there. So we have that. I'm going to stick that under the ribbon so that that doesn't get pulled up when I'm pulling the deck. So, okay, let's zoom back out. I mean, it's gorgeous. I knew it was going to be gorgeous, so it's not like I'm surprised that it's gorgeous. This will again be being blacked. And I will do that and come back and show it to you at the end. I mean, it shuffles beautifully. Again, it's smooth. I wish it was linen. I knew that, I mean, I'm sure it was said what cardstock was, but it shuffles beautiful. Let's overhand it. It is stunning. It's just gorgeous. My intention is to do, say, 6 card, because I like to read 6 cards with playing cards. So this, the Queen of Clubs on top of the Queen of, or influencing the Queen of Hearts. The 4 of Diamonds influencing the 8 of Hearts. And the Ace of Hearts over top of or influencing the 6 of Hearts. And then, you know, going in and pulling 3. Look at that. Lots of blue. All that red up above, but then having that message of the, this below is quite interesting in terms of a reading. But these are going to be stunning, stunning, stunning together, which I quite love. I also like that the backgrounds of the reds are sort of that gold toned colors, and then the backgrounds of the blacks are these gray tones more, so that will again stand out in the black and red variations for playing cards, which I think is really gorgeous. So yes, I am absolutely thrilled with this. It's stunning. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna go and edge it, and then I will come back for the last kind of show of it. And yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, so I have blacked the edges because again, I've got black edges. On this, it's different cardstock, so it's going to look different, but it looks really gorgeous. I tried out using, Tombow now has, you know, I love Tombow water-based brush pens. They have an alcohol-based one net line now, and so and it has a brush tip on one end and it has a chisel tip on the other end. So I've been wanting to try this out. I will say I will not be using this again. It's very strong smell. Now I'm very sensitive to strong smells, and I can get migraines from like perfumes and things like that. I have no problems with Sharpies. This is really intense. And I tried to use one of these in a geomancy reading because I like the brush tips for doing shield charts. And I had gotten a bold color actually because I like using like a burgundy color with my geomancy readings. And I was doing a reading for a client, and I literally had to say, oh, I've got to stop, and because I remember she messaged me back after the reading and she's like, yeah, I can't handle like strong smells anywhere. I don't blame you. But I still, you know, I had the black to try, and I wanted, and it does, you know, it goes on really nicely. That bullet goes on really nice, especially on this cardstock. Again, every cardstock's different. Test it out on the extra cards. But somebody had asked me how I thought this did for edging. It actually does quite beautiful, but I will not be using it again because it smells horrible. And is definitely, to me, to my senses, is much worse than a Sharpie. But it looks wonderful, and it is done. So yeah, I am quite happy with this. I think it is beautiful. It certainly matches my favorite deck. And again, you know, just, you know, pull 3 cards. red, black, red. It's going to be a little dicey in the beginning, but it will move forward, right? Growth of the heart overcomes some of the difficulties and moves towards this a balance or a stability in successes, leading to some stable successes with the Four of Diamonds. And of course you could go on and read that further, but then you could pull for, and in this I would use not the playing card for me, I would use this as, oops, I got this upside down, I would use this as the actual tarot cards, right? So we have the King of Swords here, the Ten of Diamonds, and the Jack of Spades. And I would treat the jacks, for me I would probably treat the jacks as pages if I was using this as the tarot, because I already have the jacks as jacks in this. But look at how gorgeous that is together. And I know you're like, okay, this isn't about the other deck. It's not, but I bought this deck. I bought this deck because of this, how much I love this deck. So that's why that part is exciting to me, and I love the way that they look together, and I will definitely be using these in conjunction. In fact, I don't think I have another like tarot playing card deck combo that looks so perfectly together, because they are an extension of each other. So it's just like, whoa! So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or night.